Hey guys, what's up? It's La coming back to ya with another episode of Car Rides with Schla. And I spoke to a friend yesterday about my iPhone 17 ambitions, and they did not react to it very well, and I guess it kind of made me realize some things. And I haven't talked about it very much on here. But I used to be a completely different person. I used to have terrible hardware, and I just never did anything about it. I think from 2012 to 2020, I was using an 8 gigabyte RAM, and what else were the specs? It was 8 gigabytes of RAM, it was 8 gigabytes of RAM. And it only had, I think, a dual core CPU. It was hyperthreaded, but it only had a dual core CPU. And I used that thing as my daily driver from the time from 2012 to 2020. I think it was almost 7 years. And so then after that, it just became this barrage of constantly upgrading. I got a desktop with 16 gigabytes of RAM and integrated because of how budget conscious I was. I don't know. I was literally saying, I didn't even want a GPU because the cost to performance of that just isn't worth it. I mean, that's the person I was before. I was totally budget, totally into being budget as possible. And then things escalated, eventually I wanted to get a better desktop, and I did. And so I had 32 gigabytes of RAM and then an 8-core CPU, because the first desktop was a 4-core CPU. So I went from 2 cores to 4 cores to 8 cores. And then, yeah. And then after that, I got my laptop, which was a 16 core, because when those came out, and I was really into idlers at the time, so the cores really mattered, and it makes me feel good. Like I said, I have this OCD about the ceiling of things, so it gives me a calm to know that I have a bunch of cores. It makes me feel so comfortable to have all that extra core headroom. All the extra core headroom, it makes me feel calm and good. Same with the RAM and the RAM headroom. It just makes me feel so good. But I've spent so much money on all these computers, and it's just so weird because I lived through just not doing it ever. Like, I just never bought any new stuff. And I just don't know what started happening. And I've talked about on this show before that my life would obviously be a lot better if I didn't waste all this money on this stuff, because at the end of the day, I never needed it. Like, none of this tech I ever bought I needed, besides when I was into idlers. Like, I genuinely did need it then for the cores to run all my idle games. But besides that one temporary and very specific purpose, I never needed to buy any of them. And so it's very, very weird. It's very sad that I still went ahead and did all that stuff. You know, it's like, I just don't know. There's something was wrong about that judgment. Something was very wrong, and I would have been in much better condition if I just never did any of that stuff. But I have no idea really what happened. At the time, I had no hope, and so I guess I just was doing things that I thought were going to bring me the hope. But all these things never really did that. So here we are. Like, we're still kind of in a situation where, well, see, but it doesn't even make sense, because the whole point is, like, it's easy to afford it now. It's not like I can't. It's just a mental thing. It's like a tax to overcome, because even though it doesn't really matter that much now, I still would have been happier if I just didn't do a lot of the things that I did. You know, if I just didn't buy a lot of the things that I bought, I would still be happier. Period. Like, I know I would. And I think that's really what gets me, is like so many, like, I just don't have an outlet, and I resort to this consumerism because it's what I like, it's what I do. But I need like a different activity, I suppose. I need a different activity. You know what I mean? It's just like, but that's kind of what I'm saying. I mean, in a way, it's not a bad pleasure necessarily, because it pushes me to want to work more. And I think if I was a different person, like, this is the thing, right? Okay, so I'm talking about my past self with this stuff, but my past self never even, like, didn't want any of this stuff, didn't care about any of this stuff. My past self also didn't want to work. My past self, wanted to live without working and to only work part-time. Now there's a difference, because there's a real reason for me to work, and it was to get the technology that I always wanted, and that truthfully was my entrance into even being where I'm at right now, is because I got over that. Like, I was living responsibly. I didn't do anything. I think when I was 16 years old, I spent a majority of that year not spending any money ever. Like, not even one little thing. I just didn't do it. Never. I just never bought anything for a very long period of time. But see, I don't know, there's different ways of looking at it, but that's the whole point. Is as much as you can make the argument that, like, it wasn't worth it, I wonder if I hadn't had bought any of that stuff, if I would even be where I'm at now. Because what if I didn't? Like, what if that situation in those moments they actually led me to where I am today? Because I wonder if I had just kept hoarding money, if I would have had a little more money, I would have been pretty comfortable, and I would have never snapped out of it. That's possible, but at the same time, I could have also just been so much less stressed. Like, my stress level would have been extremely low if I just didn't buy anything, you know? And I don't know what else there, like, it would be, why am I going so fast? Like, oh my gosh, I usually am really careful around that. Sorry, I'm just like, what is happening? I guess I was just being careless. Maybe the auto shifted a gear too high, because I usually have it on manual there and I put it to auto for some reason. Anyways, I don't know that I would have like had the same realizations about things, but maybe my life would have been better. I don't know. I think it would have. Like, I don't know. I get in these crazy phases and then it doesn't actually matter. Like, that's the thing, is it's like I don't use the things that I buy. It's just buying the thing, which is like not, it's not good. Obviously. Because it would be different if I had a real need for this stuff, but I don't. So it's hard to stop, because I've already acted this way for so long. And to stop, you know, it just feels like I might as well, I can't think of the expression. Be at peace with the hole I've dug myself. Like, it's kind of weird to just try to put some dirt in the hole to, like, make the hole half as full. You know what I mean? It's just weird to do that. I don't know if that really, like, yields anything, I guess. Or that's why it's hard. It's hard to stop behavioral patterns, but I don't know. It's really difficult to break a cycle and to try to know what's best for me. And I don't know. So I guess I could still end up doing it, but I obviously have a good amount of time to think. So, you know. But that's why it's a mental thing. It's not really about the money or whether I can afford it or not. It's just, why do I keep subjecting myself to this? When is it going to end? When am I going to pull the plug on the spending? What am I using it to distract myself from? Because there has to be like a better outlet. But I don't know. So I'm not sure what I'm going to be doing. I mean, even still, I was recently thinking about just getting back into spending. You know, like that's kind of the mindset I was on. And then that conversation has really made me question some things. You know, it's made me really question some things. And yeah, I just had such a shot at such a low stress life, and then I just acted like a maniac and spent so much more money than I needed to, you know, without really any rhyme or reason. And everything's turned out okay, but I could be so much more. And it's not that I could be so much more, it's that I could be so much calmer. And granted, I'm better than a lot of people with it because I've always had money. I said this before, like, my bank account's never really been under 1,000, even at my worst. I've never had less than 1,000. Like, and I know a lot of people where at their worst, their bank account was like empty. And so I can't fathom that. But that's why it kind of makes me think, I mean, I'm not in bad shape, but obviously my like spending addiction never got that bad, because like even through the worst, if you look at, like, if there was a chart for my net worth over the past 10 years, you can still just see like a line going up or flatlining, or you know what I mean? Like, there would obviously be dips. There were times I super splurged, but I'm saying, like, I never spent all my money. Like, I never did anything that crazy, you know? And so yeah. As much as like I beat myself up over things, I still am better off than a lot of people I know. So it's just kind of like, and even if I bought this phone, I'd still be better off than a lot of people I know. You know, it does, there doesn't seem to matter that much, but again, I don't think that's the point. I think the point is to just try to build better habits, and how I could have this phone I have now for years, you know, and actually do the right thing, which is not continue to, yeah, like it's, I just don't know what I'm doing, you know, it's really tragic. So we have to wait. I mean, we really have to figure out what's up, what's going on, all this stuff. We have to. It's just a shame. But that's really the point, is I'm not mentally strong for giving into it. Right? I'm mentally continuing to erode my self-control, my self-discipline, and that's really the core of it. I can afford it. That is not the problem. The problem is the pattern and the mental discipline and just the self-control. And the point is, I'm definitely going to be less stressed not buying it. You know, like I'm going to be happier fundamentally. It's possible if I had more money, then it wouldn't make that much of a difference, but you know. I want to mention too, it's like anytime I buy new things, even though I may want to show them off, I never can. I always get shy and weird about things. And so it always ends up feeling and being pretty silly and redundant. And what was nice about this phone is, since it's black, it's fairly low key. It's not very flashy. You know, if I had gotten it in one of the gold colors, which I was never considered. I mean, I wanted the black, but I'm just saying as an example, this new phone in orange is like very eye-catching, and so I don't even think I would like it that much. Like, I would be I'd be anxious to take it out type of thing. And so this is a huge conflict with me, even with like a car. Like, I was just thinking about this yesterday, you know, like I talk about wanting a nice car and stuff. I'd be like too anxious to even do any, like I don't even know if I'd want to be seen in it, you know. Like, I guess I've just like to be low key. I want these really nice things. I know I can appreciate them, but I still have like an anxiety about it, which I guess I don't know if this is a good thing or not, though, because it kind of doesn't really sound great, right? Like on paper, you know, this is something probably nobody else even thinks. Like, if somebody else got a new phone, they would just take it out and like not care. But for me, like, I'm always thinking, like, is somebody going to notice, and would somebody think something or say something about it? I mean, everything with me has so much intention. Everything is so like intentional and calculated, and I project and feel like other people are the same, where they judge things and they see things with lots of reason and logic and all that stuff. But like, nobody does that, and I don't think a single person has ever said anything to me about anything, because nobody notices anything. You know what I mean? And so it's a weird thing, but it points out to the crux of the problem, which is that if I bought this phone, I don't know anybody who would appreciate it or who would say anything positive about it. And it's been like that with multiple things that I like. During this whole spending spree, nobody approved of it. Nobody ever approved of any of these. My dad didn't think it was a good idea and all this. And so I've really been in a dark, dark place. And that's just putting it lightly. It's just been a dark, dark place. And there's really, I don't know what else needs to be said about it. And I'm hoping that I can get out of it, but I know I'm not out of it. I know that I'm not out of it. I'm just accepting it at this point. I'm actually looking at myself and saying and thinking, yeah, you're like, something is wrong. You're messed up. Like, this is not, you're spending a ton of money and it's on things you don't really need, or it's things you're not really getting anything out of. And it's time. I mean, I guess it's time to wake up. Because I just don't need any of this stuff. It's all in my head. It's always just all in my head. And I had such an opportunity for an easy and a stress-free life. And based on my own choices, I've made it stressful. It's not really the world. It's my own decisions that have caused a lot of these problems. And the worst part is, and I've said this before, is I saw it all before. And I just didn't do it. Like, I learned all these great things about saving money and being smart. And I did absolutely nothing about it. So it's kind of crazy. Because other people can't say the same. I mean, other people were just ignorant. So I don't think they would beat themselves up that much. But for me, like, I knew better than what I did. Like, I really knew better, and I still did it. And it was just because I was in such a bad place, really. There's no other rhyme or reason for it. But it's a shame. It's just all such a shame, you know. But I need to figure out what to do with myself. Because something It's just not right. I need to determine a better outlet. Because it just doesn't make any sense, you know? But it's hard because I genuinely don't have anything that I like do. Like, spending money is just it's like the only thing that really gives me that good enjoyment. Nothing else is really like it for me. So that's really the root of the problem. I don't know. I keep leaning into that because it just feels good, but I have to be able to stop, right? I mean, I just don't know. I just don't know. But I still feel weak. I still, could say all this and still end up getting it. It's just I don't know. I'm not living in control. I'm not living in autonomy. And it's very sad. But even through all this, things are still better for me than so many people. I mean, it's just the fact that I could still get away with doing it for a little bit longer. I don't really have any of the pressures of adulthood yet, it's a lot to be grateful for. So I guess we'll just have to, I don't know, see how things go now, but I hope I'm in a better place. But I don't know that I feel it. I still kind of feel like things are just a little bit weird, and I still am having urges, and, it's just, what else is new, man? I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know what's going on. So it's just been weird, in such a weird situation. An angry person behind me really spooked me. I'm sorry. You might have heard the horn. He just didn't like that I was accelerating very gradually, as you're supposed to, might I add. I mean, it's just like, I just don't know. He honked, swerved around me, and then braked to get in, like, because he was making a turn anyway. But yeah, nothing goes through people's heads. That's what we've come to learn. Is that nothing goes through people's heads, so it just doesn't matter. So yeah, I don't really know where I'm at right now. I don't really know how I'm feeling, and it's just bananas. Okay. We're almost there, so... I really thought I was going to be making pretty good time, but it turns out I'm really not. I mean, I think it'll be like a minute better than yesterday, but not really like anything too crazy. So... nothing's really changed, has it? Oh my goodness. Yeah, so... I guess there's not too much to get into, really. I don't know. Like, I'm in such a loss of what I'm really doing. Wow. That's kind of crazy. Yep, it's like the same as yesterday, just a minute earlier than yesterday. So kind of interesting. Sorry, I'm just doing some things, so... Very interesting. Very interesting. Alright, let's get all the usual things together. figure this out. Oh my gosh. Okay. I think I do have a little more energy than yesterday, though. I do. But I did actually drink the milk, and I think I ate more ice cream than yesterday, so could be why. Could be my reason. I think I slept a little bit worse, actually, but who knows. Alright, well, I think that it's binge slaw, but that it's probably time to buy slaw. So, see ya, slaw.